things before know that one of my favorite artists, writers, is Edgar Allan Poe. And everybody always thinks of Edgar Allan Poe as the sort of neo-Gothic American blah blah blah. But he also does quite a few humorous pieces. And he does some romantic pieces. But of course it is Edgar Allan Poe, so if you like the way he writes, then you can figure out that his romantic pieces are not really all that romantic kind. So please bear with me. I hope you enjoy this. Please laugh if you must. And this piece is called Eleonora. I won't read the Greek. I mean the Latin. I am come of a race noted for vigor of fancy and ardor of passion. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence. Whether much that is glorious, whether all that is profound does not spring from disease of thought, from moods of mind exalted at the expense of the general intellect. They who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. In their grey visions they obtain glimpses of eternity, and thrill in waking to find that they have been upon the verge of the great secret. In snatches they learn something of the wisdom which is of good, and more of the mere knowledge which is of evil. They penetrate, however, rudderless or compassless, into the vast ocean of the light ineffable. And again, like the adventurers of the Nubian geographer, agressi sunt mer tenem baru quid in eo esset exploraturi. There's a little bit of Latin. We will say then that I am mad. I grant at least that there are two distinct conditions of my mental existence. The condition of a lucid reason not to be disputed and belonging to the memory of events forming the first epoch of my life. And the condition of shadow and doubt, appertaining to the present and to the recollection of what constitutes the second great era of my being. Therefore, what I shall tell of the earlier period, believe, and to what I may relate of the later time, give only such credit as may seem due, or doubt it altogether, or if doubt it ye not, cannot, then play unto its riddle the Oedipus. She whom I loved in youth, and of whom I now pen calmly and distinctly these remembrances, was the sole daughter of the only sister of my mother long departed. Eleonora was the name of my cousin. We had always dwelled together beneath a tropical sun in the valley of the many-colored grass. No unguided footstep ever came upon that vale, for it lay far up among a range of giant hills that hung deeply around about it, shutting out the sunlight from its sweetest recesses. No path was trodden in its vicinity, and to reach our happy home, there was need of putting back with force the foliage of many thousands of forest trees, and of crushing to death the glories of many millions of fragrant flowers. Thus it was that we lived all alone, knowing nothing of the world without the valley, I and my cousin and her mother. From the dim regions beyond the mountains at the upper end of our encircled domain, there crept out a narrow and deep river, brighter than all save the eyes of Eleonora. And winding stealthily about in mazy courses, it passed away at length, through a shadowy gorge, among hills still dimmer than those whence it had issued. We called it the River of Silence, for there seemed to be a hushing influence in its flow. No murmur arose from its bed, and so gently it wandered along that the pearly pebbles upon which we loved to gaze, far down within its bosom, stirred not at all, but lay in a motionless content, each in its own old station, shining on gloriously forever. The margin of the river and of the many dazzling rivulets that glided through devious ways into its channel as well as the spaces that extended from the margins away down the depths of the streams until they reached the bed of pebbles at the bottom. These spots, not less than the whole surface of the valley, from the river to the mountains that girdled it in, were carpeted all by a soft green grass, thick, short, perfectly even, and vanilla perfume, but so besprinkled throughout with the yellow buttercup, the white daisy, the purple violet, and the ruby red asphodel, that its exceeding beauty spoke to our hearts in loud tones of the love of the glory of God. And here and there in groves about this grass, like wildernesses of dreams spread up fantastic trees, whose tall, slender stems stood not upright, but slanted gracefully towards the light that peered at noonday into the center of the valley. Their bark was speckled with a vivid, alternate splendor of ebony and silver, and was smoother than all save the cheeks of Elia and Nora, so that but for the brilliant green of the huge leaves that spread from their summits in long, tremulous lines, dallying with the zephyrs, one might have fancied the giant serpents of Syria doing homage to their sovereign, the sun. Hand in hand about this valley for 15 years roamed I with Eleonora before love entered within our hearts. It was one evening at the close of the third lustrum of her life and of the fourth of mine that we sat locked in each other's embrace beneath the serpent-like trees and looked down within the waters of the river of Sion at our images therein. We spoke the words during the rest of that sweet day, and our words even upon the morrow were tremulous and few. We had drawn the broad arrows from that wave, and now we felt that he had unkindled within us the fiery souls of our forefathers. The past passions which had for centuries distinguished our race came thronging with the fancies for which they had been equally noted, and together breathed the delirious bliss over the valley of the many-colored grass. A change fell upon all things. Strange, brilliant flowers, star-shaped, burst out upon the trees where no flowers had been known before. The tints of the green carpet deepened, and when one by one the white daisy shrank away, there sprang up in place of them, 10 by 10, the ruby red asphodel. And life arose in our paths from the tall flamingo, hitherto unseen with all gay, glowing birds, flaunted with scarlet plumage before us. The golden and silver fish haunted the river, out of the bosom of which issued, little by little, a murmur that swelled at length into a lowing melody, more divine than that of the harp of Oliv, sweeter than all save the voice of Eleonora. And now, too, a voluminous cloud, which we had long watched in the regions of Hesper, floated out thence, all gorgeous in crimson and gold, and settled in peace above us, sang, day by day, lower and lower, until its edges rested upon the tops of the mountains, turning all their dimness into magnificence, and shutting us up, as if forever, within a magic prison house of grandeur and of glory. The loveliness of Eleonora was that of a seraphim, but she was a maiden artless and innocent as the brief life she had led among the flowers. No guile disguised the fervor of love which animated her heart, and she examined with me its inmost recesses as we walked together in the valley of the many-colored grass, and discoursed of the mighty changes which had lately taken place therein. At length, having spoken one day in tears of the last sad change which must befall humanity, she thenceforward dwelt upon this one sorrowful theme, interweaving it into all her converse, as in the songs of the bard of Shiraz. The same images were found occurring again and again in every impressive variation of phrase. She had seen that the finger of death was upon her bosom, that like the ephemeron she had been made perfect in loveliness only to die. But the terrors of the grave to her lay solely in a consideration which she revealed to me one evening at twilight by the banks of the river of silence. She grieved to think that having entombed her in the valley of the many-colored grass, I would quit forever its happy recesses, transferring the love which now was the passion of her own to some maiden of the outer and everyday world. And then and there I threw myself hurriedly at the feet of Eleonora and offered up a vow to herself and to heaven that I would never bind myself in marriage to any daughter of earth, that I would in no manner prove recreant to her dear memory or to the memory of the devout affection with which she had blessed me. And I call the mighty ruler of the universe to witness the pious solemnity of my vow, and the curse which I invoke of him and of her, a saint in delusion, should I prove traitorous to that promise, involved a penalty of exceeding great horror which will not permit me to make record of it here. And the bright eyes of Eleonora grew brighter at my words, and she sighed as if a deadly burden had been taken from her breast. And she trembled and very bitterly wept, but she made acceptance of the vow. For what was she but a child? And it made easy to her the bed of her death. And she said to me, not many days afterwards, tranquilly dying, that because of what I had done for the comfort of her spirit, she would watch over me in that spirit when departed, and if, so it permitted her, return to me visibly in the watches of the night. But if this thing were indeed beyond the power of the souls in paradise, that she would at least give me frequent indications of her presence, sighing upon me in the evening winds, or filling the air which I breathe with perfume from the censers of the angels. And with these words upon her lips, she yielded up her innocent life, putting an end to the first epoch of my own. Thus far I have faithfully said, but as I pass the barrier in time's path, formed by the death of my beloved, and proceed with the second era of my existence, I feel that a shadow gathers over my brain, and I must trust the perfect sanity of the record. But let me on. Years drag themselves along heavily, and still I dwell within the valley of the many-colored grass. But a second change had come upon all things. The star-shaped flowers shrank into the stems of the trees and appeared no more. The tints of the green carpet faded, and one by one the ruby-red asphodels withered away, and there sprang up in place of them, 10 by 10, dark eye-like violets that writhed uneasily and were ever encumbered with dew. Just a little bit left. And life departed from our past, for the tall flamingo flaunted no longer in scarlet plumage before us, but flew sadly from the vale into the hills, with all the gay glowing birds that had arrived in his company. And the golden and silver fish swam down through the gorge at the lower end of our domain, and bedecked the sweet river never again. And the lulling melody that had been softer than the wind carpet ailess, and more divine than all save the voice of Eleonora, it died little by little away, in murmurs growing lower and lower, until the stream returned at length utterly into the solemnity of its original suns. And then lastly, the voluminous cloud uprose, and abandoning the tops of the mountains to the dimness of old, fell back into the regions of Hesper, and took away all its manifold golden and gorgeous glories from the valley of the many-colored grass. There's an epilogue to this I could read, which is he leaves the valley, meets a human, falls madly in love, and forgets Eleanor. And it's just a short little Thank you very much.